Today I'm going to show you something that I use all the time when I'm making designs for Redbubble that help inform my colour choices. The website is called 𝗤𝗏𝗏 and it's free. It looks like this, but before I show you that, I'm just going to show you an example from Redbubble about how you can use it to mess with the colours to make it look really good. So, this is today's picks for me. I've just selected something as I was scrolling down, which is this pineapple design, and I'm going to use it as an example. I'm not going to steal this, I'm not making any profit off it, so please don't cry in the comments. This is just an example to show you how it works. So I'm going to copy this pineapple, and then go into Photoshop or whatever you use, make a new canvas to the same size. Hold on, that hasn't copied. Make a new canvas. Paste the design, and this is what it looks like. So this looks really good. The artist has done a good job at matching the colours, but let me go back onto that. If we go and shop available products, not everything will be on this colour. So you can see that there's 17 colours available for the customer to choose. Let's say they choose something really, something that probably doesn't go very well with the colour scheme of the pineapple, this red. We will then print screen this just to get this into Photoshop. So I'm copying the whole screen and then going into Photoshop and just pasting it. So this is what it looks like when we're in Photoshop or whatever you use. Pretty standard these days for all these editing programs to have this tool, which is the eyedropper. So just select that, and when you've got that selected, you can use it to pick up any colour that's available on the screen. So in this case, we're going to get the red from the shirt. You can hold it down, you can hold down your left mouse and it will keep this up, so you can actually go and select whatever colour that you want. So you can do the skin tone, the Redbubble logo, the leaves, whatever. But we just want the colour of the shirt so we know what Redbubble use. So if I change the background of the other one to this colour, which it's now selected and put there automatically for me to use, we'll change the background, and this is what it would look like on that shirt. So we can use that to inform our design choices. What we can also do is on the bottom left, if you just click this colour, it will give you the actual code that you can use on 𝗤𝗏𝗏 on the website. So we can then copy this and use it to make decisions about the design. So when I go to 𝗤𝗏𝗏, there's an area down here where you can actually paste the colour code in. And by the way, you can do this for anything on the internet. So if there's any image that you like, simply save it or copy it, put it into Photoshop or whatever your favourite image editing software is, get the eyedropper tool, and then you can get any colour that you like the look of if you wanted to use it in your own designs. So going back to this colour, we will paste it in 𝗤𝗏𝗏, and it gives you the option, it shows you the various shades that you can use that are related to that colour, which is monochromatic. Then up here you have adjacent colours, triad and tetrad. What I tend to do is go on adjacent colours and then I just add the complementary colour, so a colour that will go well with this red. And you can see down at the bottom right here, when I click it, it shows me that this green is a complementary colour for the red. So I will then click on whichever one that I want. So these are all different shades that you can get. Just click on the one that you want, which I'm going to do the middle one. And it presents me with the colour code, which I'm then able to copy. So click that, copy it, go back, and then what you could normally do is click the image down here, click the colour, change the code, and then you're presented with the green that it offered you, and then you can then design in whatever way you normally do. But because this isn't my image and I'm just going to use it as an example, I need to actually replace the colour. So I would go to Image, Adjustments, Replace Colour, and then select the colour that I want to replace, which is this top bit, and then paste in the colour that's been presented to me as a complementary colour. So you can see before and after, before, after. So the idea is that a complementary colour is more likely to stand out in the search results for potential customers that are looking through. Whether you agree that that looks better or not, this is just a very simple design decision that you can make to make sure that it looks good. I will show you a comparison that I've saved earlier. So this is what it would look like before and after in the search results. And obviously I haven't adjusted everything in this design. It's just an example of the top bit. but you can have a look. It looks a bit washed out with this colour on the red, whereas if you look at the other one, it's a complementary colour, so it's more likely to stand out in the search results and therefore more likely to get you a sale. So this is just one example. You can use it in a number of ways. Another good way to use it is when you're adding work, again just an example I uploaded in about 2 seconds, you can change all the colours. The only ones that you can't change, that you're stuck with, are standard print clothing and large print clothing. So these two, you actually only get a limited selection from Redbubble. Everything else, like the contrast tanks onwards, you can change the colour yourself. So you get given ultimate, an unlimited amount of colours that you can select on here. Whereas here you're stuck with these particular ones. What I like to do, and what I've noticed a lot of other people like to do that tend to be successful on Redbubble, is that if you select a colour for the unisex t-shirt, you can then, again, print screen it, go into Photoshop, just paste it, and then again you can use the eyedropper tool to get the actual colour. So this is the colour that Redbubble use for their shirts, for their standard print, for the blue. So if that blue looked really good with your design, you can then copy that code, like I've just done, go onto your other things, like your contrast tanks, go down at the bottom here, select it and just paste it, and you'll get that blue. So the way that it works is that if you went through your whole portfolio doing that, everything's uniform then. So when people click on a listing, everything is the same colour, everything looks like it matches, and it's a good way to make your portfolio look nice, especially if that colour works with the design. Obviously this is just a stupid design that I've done in about 2 seconds, but if you had a really good design and you matched the colours up, it would look really nice with all the different products in a row, same colour, all matching. Finally then, another good use for it, this is an example that I found again on the images that were presented to me for today's picks by Redbubble. You can see that they've got a blue colour there, which is quite strong in the design. They've probably selected that, gone into Peloton or something similar, or maybe even just chosen a colour themselves. Once they pasted the colour, you can go into the monochromatic and select something that's around that sort of style. So all these are related to this colour, they're just lighter shades that you can use. And I'll just show you how they've used it down here. If you go on to all their available products and scroll down, you can see that they've got a really nice blue that actually fits very well with the design. So rather than using what would be classed as a complementary colour, they've used something that's either a bit lighter or a bit darker than the actual colour to make it pop. And it goes really well. So there's all sorts of different uses that you can use this website for. You can use it for the monochromatic, where you select a lighter or darker shade of it. You can use the adjacent colours, you can add complementary colours, and basically just experiment with it and see what comes up. Try and use these colours in your design, because you can pick a colour by eye, and I've done it before many times, where I've picked a colour, gone on Photoshop, say I wanted to use this blue that I've got selected, and I thought, what colour will look good with this? And you go down and have a look yourself. But actually the colour that you choose, although it might look good to the naked eye, when you actually compare it to Peloton, what is a complementary colour, it's often nowhere near or even slightly off. And just that little bit of difference can make a huge impact. It takes the hassle out of finding decent colours to use for a design, and if it gives you that little bit of edge over the competition, then it's worth doing in my opinion. So this website is fantastic. I always use it, pretty much every design. If it's got colour in it, I'll be using this to make sure that the colours match, and then I'll also use it to influence the decisions when I'm uploading things onto Redbubble to make sure that these are all uniform and they look good in my portfolio. So if you haven't used it before, definitely give it a go, copy the colour codes and try it out for yourself.